Good evening, good people, and welcome to another community presentation of the Final Fantasy Randomizer Winter Tournament, Chaos's Winter Carnival. I am Saris, and joined in the booth tonight by Thavian Hawk. How you doing, Thavian?
I am doing well, I assume, as you are. We also have Wild Ham doing our tracking for us. Thank you, Wild Ham.
We have quite the matchup tonight. Budgemano versus Deadpulse, Game 2. Deadpulse up 1-0 in the series so far, and this is a battle between two former Duckling Supremes, two champions in the community. Handsome and talented runners both. So, how do you feel about this match?
I am very excited to see how it goes down. There hasn't been a bad match so far, and these racers are more than talented enough to be on this main stage, round of 16 or beyond.
Absolutely. So we do have a little bit of spice tonight. If I recall correctly, we have 4 forced, no recruits, and we got fighter double red white. What do we know about our blurses?
Not a bad composition giving the blursings. The fighter, weirdly enough, has both the wood adept blursing as well as the steel armor cast fast. So if they don't get the power bonk, then wood, and steel might just be a good armor composition at the malice of no bracelets, which is kind of pointless, I think.
I thought the wood adept required the wood chest piece, so it would be mutually exclusive.
Does the steel have to be equipped to be able to use as a cast item?
It's not that it casts it like a regular casting item. If you're equipped with it, it's fast.
Oh, well, that's even more hilarious.
Auto fast is a fantastic thing on a fighter. Our red mage can equip any shield and has Cure 3 to start, but -1 MDef per level.
That's what ribbons are for.
Yep. And our white mage starts with exit and a little bit of agility, but a small penalty to luck.
All in all, these blursings are far more bless than curse, in my opinion.
Absolutely. So the gate is dropped. We're just waiting on the delay to sync up here, so our runners should be getting off very shortly. As we can see, the timer cutting down on Budgemano's side. Let's see what the excitement has in store for us tonight. Level 1 white magic. Heal 3 is white mage only.
Well,
That's
at least
a
they
little
have
rough.
one of those, and there's temper and fire at least for some early cast of damage, but that temper primarily valued.
Yeah. Pretty garbage armor, and do we have anything we can kill with? We've got scimitar. Large knife is actually real good at a +5. That's solid.
If one of them grinds eyes with that knife, I will laugh.
So we do have a starting AoE caster item. Because it was not on the weapon screen, that means that it has to be a damage armor, which is great. Zeus
Black
Gauntlet.
shirt or Zeus Gauntlet, correct?
Yep. Black shirt it is. So looks like Budge has moved it down to the white mage. And there's Deadpulse doing that as well.
Well, short of a harm spell or fade, that's the immediate sweeper power for that white mage to use.
Looks like we just have a little bit of a stutter on the side there. Katana -2. That's a nice money sword.
That is all it can be in this seed. And that is a ribbon in Toph, or an upper Toph, which we definitely know Deadpulse got because we blinked in and out of that room for him before his screen went a little blank there.
Yeah, that's a great find. We're tempering that fighter. We're black shirting with the white mage. 200 some damage there from Deadpulse's side. It's gone. Budgemano, much the same. We get the chicken, which is a ruby. And the rod. So this is a little disconcerting, as we have nothing that's like progress out of the Undersea yet.
We know what we're doing when we get to Melman.
The continent is open.
It is nice to see the royals willing to give up the crown, or the royal treasury's jewels and their royal scepter.
I mean, or dinner in the case of Budgemano's side.
And that katana immediately sold by both runners. It's just that initial investment for their race.
13 grand is 13 grand, man.
Most definitely. That's enough magic to get them through all the way through level 4 without much issue, I'd say.
Yep. Alright. Frost on the iguanas, and Deadpulse doing what he can to avoid encounters on the way over to Provoca.
That is a substantial indicator of how much these runners have played to know to start bouncing off that encounter table, using the save items to skip those encounters they don't want. And that is Cure 4 in White Magic on level 2.
And Wall, which I know Deadpulse picked up Wall and Cure 4 on the White Mage. Fire 3, Warp, and Brack, and Fast. I mean, that's like a fantastic level, right? But I feel like you're kind of spoken for on this one. So we can avoid the Fast if we want to, because of the Steel Armor cast Fast bonus. But you can't really pass up Cure 4, right? So you gotta go Fire 3, you gotta go Warp, because Warp is one of the biggest speed increases in the game.
Exit's nice to get out of a deep dive for some reason, but Warp lets you trick and cheat ordeals in Ice Cave, which are very valuable things.
And we have the free exit on the White Mage, so like we've got the best of both worlds here. You only really need one cast of exit anyway. We get the cube out of Bicky, so this is starting to look suspiciously like an early ice. And that is concerning.
And a bottle out of the store.
Okay, so that money katana was very useful. Silver +3 bracelets are huge.
That's all 3 of your casters equipped with solid defense up front.
That's like, as far as I'm concerned, it's endgame armor for those 3.
And still walking out of Provoca with over 3 grand, going down towards Crescent or Ice. I honestly don't know if Ice is a good play, but if one of these racers could definitely try a cheeky Ice dive. Now they're having that armor. And Fire is a spell.
I think one of them will probably make the dive. I'm just not sure which one. And Deadpulse just getting the business from this pack of Crimson Werewolf. So we'll see if one of them wants to be brave. Oh, Budge is going up. Deadpulse is not.
It's the 50-50.
It's not quite a 50-50 because we've got Marsh and we have Crescent Lake as incentive locations left to check.
I was just thinking 50-50 at that split, whether they go or don't.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. Ice is a very dangerous dive. Yeah. Ice is a very dangerous dive, but at the same time, it's like you kind of you're set up well to do it. You have warp and you have exit. Like you just need to get to the floor with the box and then just leave. So
you also have some reasonably good armor. 9 times out of 10, getting here this early, you don't have something like a silver ring on every caster.
Yeah, the other thing to note is with the equipped shields bonus on those red mages, the silver shield +5 is actually pretty reasonable. Fade level 6 in a white wizard locked slot. Oh, and red wizard. They can both learn it in level. Or wait, no, that's white mage, red wizard. There's the loot coming out of Crescent Lake. That's concerning.
Well, the sooner they can escape the Circle C, the sooner they can get to turning in and checking the things they've got. At the moment, Deadpulse is looking like he's going ice as well.
Yeah, I think there's just sort of a you have to do this. And at this point, we can confirm knowing that there's only 2 locations left, in this flag set, I believe the ship and the canal must be in the inner sea. Therefore, the floater is elsewhere. There is the canal coming out for Budgemano. A pro ring in the Better Trap Treasure box there, which is nice. And there's the warp and exit.
Not bothering to try and search the 6 chest or the 2 chests with the Better Trap Treasure. He is just out of there and on his way to Elfland and then Marsh. Well, actually, Crescent first, no doubt.
Yep. And, I mean, he's like level 6. There was no way he was going to go adventuring down into the depths here.
He did take one, or at least one fight with some mummies that got him a few levels, which...
It helps, but, I mean... Ice is a scary place. Alright, Deadpulse making his way down as well. Sorcerers would be nice to fight in another timeline where you actually have non-elemental damage to deal with. Sleep touch on these sorcerers too.
That's just annoying.
It is better than it could be.
This is true. It could be stunning them.
Or just death. Alright. Deadpulse just taking a little pack there. Getting a small amount of experience. Nothing big.
Budgemano skipped on those shields for the Red Mage. He got some chain armor for his knight or his fighter though.
Deadpulse looks to be checking the Better Trap Treasure here before doing the warp. That is a scary pack and gets the turn order off there. There's an Opal Bracelet Vanilla, which is 34 absorb.
Plus the lightning resistance.
Nope. The lightning resistance is only on the Opal armor and shield. The bracelet doesn't have resistances.
They're still freaking good.
34 absorb it's a gold plus 5. It is one of the best options you have for absorb. So it's a nice bonus that the white mage is going to have there. Budgemano getting to level 3 magic. There was Quad X, which was not exciting enough to take for the moment.
Lit 2 as well as a sweeper. And that's Invis 2 in level 3 white magic, which is not bad.
Not bad at all. I think there's a realization of, I just don't have the money to do this, because as much as that katana was an early game accelerator, it wasn't enough of one.
He just backed out and he's fading level 4 magic, item shop, and armor. I mean, he knows the item shop's been dealt with, so he doesn't really have to check there unless he wants to buy some gear.
Yep.
Some more tents or houses.
Alright, so both runners are going to head over to Marsh real quick. I wouldn't be terribly surprised if Deadpulse just stops at the inn and keeps walking. Like, doesn't even check the stores. Oh, he's going to check. He's got a little bit more money, that's why. Quad X is a very good spell. Instant kill against things that have less than 300 hit points and are not resistant to death.
They will definitely deal with Astos.
It will deal with a lot of potential things. So that's good. Harm 4, big for the White Mage, who has the improved Harm flag on. Unfortunately, Harm 3 also at the same level. And Garbage at level 4. Cool. We're out of here.
That Harm All flag for the White Mage has been immensely valuable. I have to enjoy it when I run Seeds as well. Normally that Harm spell, when cast by any magic caster, can only deal with damage to the undead, but with the Harm All flag, when a magic caster, or a white caster specifically casts it, or a white mage or wizard, it deals damage to all creature types, and that is some dead Red Mage and fighter over on Budgemano.
that was an ambush thunder from that fire. So that is a heck of a tile to run into, but they both have one ribbon.
And the white mage with exit survived. So budgemano is out.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, I feel like the ribbon is sitting on the fighter for Deadpulse. So that could be a real problem.
This will be interesting. Oh, cremate on those ogres.
You know, it's no matter what happens, it's not that bad. Budge already saved outside of Marsh. The ship has been obtained. We're just gonna cure 4 and keep walking.
So getting out of the Circle C, you'd assume he's just gonna go straight for the Titan's Trove and Sarda. Yeah.
Probably. So I think that that's a very reasonable play. The other very reasonable play here is going right over to Ordeals and hoping you can pull something out of there while you still have the ship. Because
that out, well, it's easier to get to because of the water dock.
Yep. And a lot of things in there are relatively weak to Fire 3, so you got that going for you.
Interesting thing here, he's not picking up his second red wizard. It looks like he might just be going for a 3-man.
I think that's a very reasonable play. The magic has just not really been there. Deadpulse has no problems. I don't think that fire ambushed, and therefore he was able to just run.
Except all the luck one can get with those cases.
Yep. Level 5 white, pretty bad. Level 5 black, pretty bad. That pretty much tells us where the magic is for the seed. We are in melee mode. Budgemano is going to head over to Titans, as you were suggesting.
We have not seen Life or Life 2 at this point, so...
That
they
is...
need to grind up quite a bit on their parties for survivability's sake.
So, here's the counter to that. We have a ribbon, and when, not if, but when, we find the steel armor for sale... Is it here? No. Okay. It's in Gaia, all right? We know the steel armor is in Gaia at this point.
We have a problem.
Well, sometimes...
Don't have a problem.
Sometimes you just get a little bit of technical difficulties. Now, the real difficulty is I don't know what they got.
Exactly. Time to look really fast at their inventory.
Yep.
Oh, he's getting the Titans afterwards, so you get that advantage.
Yep. Okay, TNT comes from our Titans Trove. And we'll be able to figure out the Sarda thing from Deadpulse. It's fine. Yep. And, I mean, it's really a testament to just how good both of these runners are, that they are within seconds of each other on this. Oh, it's a slab. Okay, so Ordeals and Bahamut are super important checks that we're looking at, potentially.
I don't mind the fact that budgemano didn't translate the slab, but I personally probably would have translated the slab, just being right there in Melman.
So I take the position of race nerves are a thing that make you forget the slab. And I'm terrified of forgetting that I have it.
And that is one liberated dwarf.
Yep. Gotta save him from the torture of a one-word existence. Alright, there's a chime. Okay,
we have
chime.
Sky, Sky, Sky.
So we have the dungeon items. We need a key to finish out. That's the last actual item we need. Crack arachnids.
So Danny didn't have anything to do with this seed. That's just kind of interesting to see in the wild.
This is a Luffy seed. So, these things will happen.
And budgemano is taking that option to get ordeals out of the way before checking Bahamut. He wants to check Bahamut only when he has the tail, hopefully, because without the floater, he can't do the quick check for the incentive item in the Cardia Forest Island.
I agree with that play entirely. It makes 100% sense. Deadpulse is a hooray enjoyer, which I have feelings about.
I personally believe that Hooray Dwarf is stuck in a temporal lock where he cannot escape, but he's aware of the temporal lock and loop that the world is stuck in, and he's cheering that you're there to finally end his suffering and break the cycle.
I think that's a fair interpretation. Deadpulse is going to translate this slab and probably rest up at the inn as he realized he's out of exit charges. Meanwhile, budgemano making his way through ordeals. Up to level 9. Not bad. I do not see a world in which Deadpulse does not also go straight to ordeals. We also have Waterfall available to us. Knowing that we don't have to do C, I don't want to go there.
Invading the entire Onrek continent is never a horrible thing when you can avoid it.
Oh hey, it's an eye tile.
This could be a solid grind if they think they can escape with just leveling up. Mainly because this tile, because you can go in and out of the door, is safe to grind. There's no off-tile encounters that way.
3 out of 4 directions are safe on this tile because of the type of wall on the bottom of the room, too.
Yeah, it's the bottom of the room.
Yep. So that is a fantastic tile, but I don't see either runner taking advantage of it. They're both really grind-on-the-go type people, and static grinds are for black belts. Kind of thing.
I totally understand not grinding, especially if you have to try and kill off your party members to optimize the grind.
Yep. Deadpulse not far behind here, but Budge's stream locked up for a moment on our restream, but he's out. So, yep, another incentive location that we just missed because of some stream issues. Twitch being Twitch. Where budgemano is heading tells me that it was the crystal.
Yeah, if you head southeast from there, you can get to the little secret dock in front of Matoya's cave, without having to go all the way around to the inner sea.
The secret river dock is fantastic. And the other thing is, if you leave your save up there, you can find out that this is the Vorpal. I'm guessing. That I haven't seen it yet, but you can find out that, whatever is here isn't immediately useful, and just reset back to get Bahamut's cave. We get the adamant, which this is the worst location to have to check the adamant.
You have to go all the way around the Melman Peninsula.
Or you walk it. You can walk all the way there and then still have your reset point back.
So budgemano's going north. I think he's just going to go Bahamut, pick up the item behind him. And he's saving so he can just reset out.
Mm-hmm. I honestly don't think that you save anything by saving. Like, you could just check the chests. It's okay.
And
you have exit. Who knows if it's useful?
Circle C is their next destination, it seems, because he's got the Dwarf Cave and the Elf Prince to visit.
Deadpulse is going to also just head back by the looks of it.
There's a gold ring +3. They're these bracelets are rolling pretty nicely, all things considered. Sadly, that fighter can't wear one.
It's okay. The fighter has a known armor that he will be wearing once they get a floater. That's the only downside, is we need to actually find the floater to get the steel armor, because it's guaranteed to be in the armor shop in Gaia. We also don't know how expensive it will be, which will be a real interesting thing. We get the crown out of the herb.
I believe
Deadpulse?
this will finish up every single thing except for Canaria locked as far as incentive items and turn-ins on the Circle C continent.
Mm-hmm. Deadpulse headed into Waterfall here. So
if this turns out to be Oxy Ale, I will laugh.
This is our first bit of real divergence.
Unfortunately, this divergence may make it harder for us to follow the action if budgemano's stream keeps glitching, but...
Man, Twitch doing real Twitch things tonight. It's okay. We'll get there. Power, it's usually with this flag set, I've been seeing times between 40 and 60 minutes. So with these runners, they're both very high quality runners.
Those are some evil birds.
Wow.
Death Touch Paralisks, yeah.
Jerkbirds are jerkbirds, man.
And again, we have not seen Life or Life 2. That means they're in level 7 or 8 magic.
Ew. Yeah, the way the seed is set up currently, I feel like the higher end of the estimate is most likely what's going to happen. All right, the crown has been turned in, and Budge is heading south. I have to imagine the adamant was also turned in. So that tells me that the floater is in this robot's hands.
Indeed it is.
Oh, baby.
The robot what fell from the sky had the floater, which is why the airship crashed into the desert.
Hmm.
He fell off with the key to allow the airship to stay aloft. And that means the tail came out of one of those turn-ins with the crown or the adamant, because budgemano is now promoted.
But Budge also definitely 100% knows where that floater is. And having done ordeals, there's nothing that you really want to, like, go for that the floater isn't just an advantage for. Ice 2 Kaizokus. What is this?
Those are some cold-hearted pirates. Now, Deadpulse has the slab. If it's been translated, he can just go straight down, deal with the bottle, hit up the Onrek car, or hit up Lefane. Probably wishing he had the promote or the tail so he could promote before going to Lefane, but he at least has that check. There's the exit, level 7 that they already have access to.
Steel rolled +5. Let's go!
That's some heavy metal gear.
We have pro rings available as well, but let me tell you, that fighter is now armed to the teeth because of the Blursing giving it auto cast fast on that steel armor, which I believe effectively makes you immune to the slow 2 that is in the fiend pool.
That is Life 2, Fog 2, and Cure 3 at level 7 or level 8 in Gaia. Now the good news there is that White Mage has Cass on level 8, just those 2 already from that plus exit Blursing.
So there was a Vorpal out of the ferry, and it looked like it was an uprolled Vorpal.
An auto-fasted Vorpal-wielding knight. Seems like a good idea.
Oh, absolutely. That knight is going to tear through Topher. Now, Deadpulse doesn't yet have the tail. He needs to follow the fetch turn-ins to get that. And there is the key.
Which means he can pull Canaria locked when he goes back up to deal with those fetch quest items that he has yet to do. So his routing is actually not going to be that bad from here, if he survives this red stake.
Oh, he'll survive. So the other thing that's worth noting is I think that it tells us that Canaria Locked is the incentivized ribbon. Ooh, sandwiches. We take those. We try to take those.
This warrior is still wielding a plus rolled knife.
You know, we're doing the best we can. All right. All right. We're rezzing on Budgemano's side. I think he just needs to do the Lefane check, and he will have all the information he needs to complete this. Dungeon selection at this point, I don't want to go back to the Onrak continent if I can avoid it. Sky and Earth all the way.
I will always say Sky. It's a fast dungeon to run, has a lot of good experience for the walking grind if you need it. And Robot Chicken.
Mm-hmm.
Which is very tasty when you can get it.
I have this sneaking suspicion. Yeah, Deadpulse is going to run 2-man for the rest of the seed until he gets to Topher, and then he's going to res those red mages. And
Budgemano checking for that steel armor he has not yet narrowed down, or might just now have narrowed down to being Gaia, as he gets a slab turn in, and the Oxio evidently was with the blacksmith, which means the tail belongs to the crown.
oh, and Deadpulse hasn't found the herb yet because he didn't check the Bahamut incentive. He is taking the long way to this, which I have feelings about, but, you know, it's okay.
So, this flag that they have here is Bahamut's treasure hoard. Normally, these treasure chests are not there. What's happened is all 3 of the treasure islands have had their chests linked to a new batch of chests behind Bahamut, and the incentive chest, which is normally located on the forested island to the lower right of this island, it's actually faster to go into that island, go in, check that chest, and then run out than go all the way down both halls to Bahamut's hoard itself. So if you have the airship and you don't have the tail, and you just want the incentive, that is the quicker check option.
Yep. I think it's okay.
Hey,
Deadpulse, I like that it's actually labeled that. Deadpulse is just going to do the checks, has exit still, it's going to be fine. This really doesn't set him back a whole lot. Defense sword on Budgemano's side is actually enormous.
Even rolled neutral, that is a substantial uptick in weapons.
Yep. Now, the thing is, Budge has not yet gone to turn in either the bottle or the slab, because Budge didn't translate the slab first, which I know you were bringing up originally. So that's the downside of that play. Like, Deadpulse got the slightly better routing for Lefane and Gaia for having translated it early, but forgetting that you have them is almost as dangerous. So Deadpulse is now going to go do that promotion, and they will effectively, I mean, they're still a Lefane apart.
I will no doubt see him hooraying in his own. I will just imagine him hooraying the moment he promotes, gets that Vorpal equipped to that steel armored knight, and then goes rocking some fiends.
Budgemano checked the Asher trunk. I did not see what it paid out, but it always pays out. Sometimes it just pays out like 10 gold, you know. It's okay.
Would you agree Sky is the best play from here? Because it looks like that's where no? Deadpulse isn't going Sky. Interesting.
Deadpulse is getting his items sorted, maybe. No, he's getting his life magic.
Very much wants that.
Yep, Life 2 is a substantial find. That also tells him the levels that he needs to get. Oh, he's gonna do his night shop? No, he's gonna do Toph locked. Okay.
I don't blame him, because as much as he's found nice gear, a lot of it's just come out of the store. So there's a chance he could find some other armor, some other equipment, mainly ribbons. Although he has 2 ribbons now, doesn't he?
He does have 2 ribbons. He also just found a tile that could get him safety levels if he's really concerned about that. And being in the 2-man formation right now, this is actually a great time to look at this.
Plus having all of the incentive items picked up, which amplifies the level of the experience gain.
Equips the Thor hammer. Oh, baby.
Over on budgemano's side, he's down into the... wow, that is some really painful mummies.
So glare is time elemental, which means that the ribbon and the black shirt protect against it, and that's it. You can still get 3 and 256, and you can just get bodied by melee from nasties.
I was about to say, that pack can be a reasonably good party experience early and not so bad right now, and then it did that to him.
Yeah,
Well,
that's...
he's going to get this defense sword, and he's definitely going to try to avoid them otherwise.
Yeah, and that means he has to go through the wrong eye again. And that's, honestly, that's a sinking feeling for a lot of runners when you're going up against a runner of the caliber that each of these guys is going up against. One wipe is a huge deal. And especially with just how long of a dive that was. Like, this is not a short Earth Cave. Earth Cave is a very long dungeon. It is the longest step count in terms of combat steps of all of the dungeons, to my knowledge. Yeah, it's ugly.
Oh, some heat-breathing gargoyles that also have fire magic. Are they gargoyles in disguise?
So Deadpulse is getting his safety levels here. This is actually a lot more zombie D than I was expecting to see, but this tells me that he's actually feeling comfortable enough with the levels he gets here. He's going to get to his life 2 charges. His knight should, at this point, have all 4 of the charges for its magic.
And he's
pick up
got
Cure
8
4.
hits with that. He has 8 hits with that auto fast, which with the Vorpal is doing a lot of chunk damage.
Yeah.
Think he'll stop with a breakpoint on the hit count, or where would you stop this?
That's hard to say. Now, 5 hits is level 28 with that sword. 5 base hits, which means it'll be 10 hits with the steel armor. Deadpulse knows his math in this game really, really well. He does it on the fly, and I don't understand how he does it.
Budgemano has made a mistake. He stepped back
whoops
on
a
the
doodle.
tile.
Okay, the harm 4 goes out on turn order, so that's good. We're safe. Alright, so Deadpulse is at least going to 28 on the knight. Is I think what's going on. There it is. Immediately exits. And he's got 5 charges of level 8. That's actually the benefit of starting with a spell in your class blurses, is you start with 2 charges of level 8 magic. And normally it's like mid-20s for the White Wizard to get the charges there.
Well, as Deadpulse is on his way to Earth to romp a speed bump.
And he does bring up one of the white. He brings up both of the red mages.
I guess he just really wants access to the sweepers, potentially, but the extra turn orders...
So the white mage started with a luck penalty, and the fighter and the white mage don't have a great run chance in the first place. So getting through the dungeon is sometimes a challenge. Deadpulse skipping over the box with the defense sword, kind of a big deal.
Don't blame him for not going there, given what he's got and what he knows he has, but definitely now knowing what's there, sad.
So he'll probably check the pre-vampire better trap treasure. I don't remember what that chest had. And by that, I mean, it probably isn't anything good, because I don't remember what it had.
Well, budgemano out with his Earth Orb lit onto Volcano, checking the armory and Volcano, hopefully not finding some destructive mummies. Or comparable.
So the other thing that's very much worth noting here is the level disparity at this point is absolutely huge. Oh, it was a black shirt. Okay, that's... Who cares what's in that chest?
Oh, interesting. The Giants had ice too. I'm glad that that wasn't seen during the pop grind. Or if it was, I forgot it.
There was no pop grind this seed, so...
Oh, I'm thinking of sorry, I was watching a race before this one, and it's gotten Seed Bleed.
Seed Bleed in comms is rough. Deadpulse skipping the Earth Armory as well. We're confident, is what I'm seeing here.
There's Crack Arachnids and Lit Ooze.
Well, we have ribbons.
And life charges to burn.
Yep. Was that Agama on the tile? I think that Agama was on the tile.
And it was guarding a fairly nice shield, plus 2 ice.
Oh, the other thing that's huge here is because Budge hasn't gone to Gaia yet, does not have the steel armor, so that actually is a material problem.
Not just the resilience of the plus rolled steel armor, but the multiplication of the damage output, because fast doubles the number of swings you get with your sword.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, I hate to say it, but Carry 1 is a secretly dangerous fiend. I have had surprisingly high-level parties wipe to Carry 1.
Never underestimate the Snack Lady. Or the Dragon Queen.
Yeah, I mean, everybody talks about Kraken, which, funny enough, I've heard that apparently in the Pixel Remaster, Kraken 1 is the easiest boss, which is just bizarre to me.
Gotta point this out, first chest inside the Agama floor, first box was a white shirt.
A white shirt +3. That's real good.
Deadpool's definitely going to want to see that if he checks it. He just skipped the entirety of Armory. He is now in Volcano as well.
So Deadpulse has a rule about chests that he only checks them, one, if he thinks he needs anything, which he may just be like, I'm good. But two, is it has to be 3-second value. Like, if he's only checking one chest, he has to be able to check it within 3 seconds of his walking path.
And he skipped it. Dragon +4 out of the top left chest in Agama floor, which neither of these runners are probably going to put to use. Actually, budgemano, well, he's got the defense sword, is probably better even with that +4. Deadpulse with his grind is and avoiding chests is already catching up and is passing budgemano on the Fiend Dive, as budgemano is checking the red dragon chest and finding those mummies.
There's... Oh, it's just a big old box of screams right there.
At least they targeted his knight, who apparently has a ribbon, I'd assume, given how many times he avoided that death. And as I was speaking, we lost to Snake Lady.
Yep. Deadpulse now firmly in the lead.
Better statement, we destroyed a Snake Lady. Lost would be a poor choice of words.
Rip Snack. Alright, Deadpulse picking up that Cure 4 on the Knight, which I think likely will make up for any potential problems that exist on Chaos.
And that is a ribbon out of the dragon chest. That is 3 ribbons, which is what budgemano needs for his 3-man party.
It's nice, but it's not quite the oomph he needs, right?
Very
Like, if that had been the power bonk, I would have been a lot more confident. Linkshot pointing out the ribbon behind the glare spammers. Absolutely. Again, time element. It's terrifying.
Deadpulse on his way up Mirage Tower as the Snack Lady enters budgemano sights.
And, you know, again, I don't want to sell the party short necessarily, but Budge is level 18, 19, something like that, on the 2 characters that are upright. And he doesn't have the Vorpal, and he doesn't have the steel armor.
At this point, Deadpulse is, without a doubt, equipment and levels in the lead.
Yeah, so this is just a rough fight. Budgemano, having not gone to Gaia at all, doesn't have the life to... just there's a lot of tools that are missing from the kit right now. And I think he stops there on the way to Sky, because he still needs the key. He's going back in.
Deadpulse just skipped CC's Gambit and the free 4-pack. He is in no search mode. He is going
He's
full
confident.
Fizzle Beef.
He's just confident in what he has. One thing that I will say about Deadpool, he's done so many practices of these flags. Like, I gotta say, he's probably around 300 practices between the pods and the bracket flags. Dude's just a machine going through these all. So, he knows the limits.
Yep. Tia hitting for about 40 damage, it looked like. Nothing too dangerous on that Knight, as the Knight whipped him for 400 plus.
Oh, I see what's going on. Budge is trying to get a Knight grind off on the Agama tile here. That makes sense. I follow the logic.
Not a bad option, but given the fact that he's swinging the defense sword, doesn't have the fast, still has to drop a party member, and is now a fiend down on his opponent.
Yeah, this is not looking great for Budge at this point, but doing the best he can. I think there's good logic to what he's doing. It's just...
That is our first dive at 4450 for Deadpulse.
Yep, we are on the way. Alright, White Mage down on Budge's side. Time to bring that Knight to the moon.
For all we know, he will go full on moon, because he doesn't have much reason other than just time taken to not level higher compared to what Deadpulse did with his 2-man, and there's total possibilities that this party could get shut down by a lot of nukes, among other things, out of these fiends.
Now, the nice thing is that with all the levels that Deadpulse got on the White Wizard, it has over 400 hit points, but that's still a carry, Kraken, or Tiamat melee crit away from death. And that is also a well-equipped White Mage. Like, it has an Opal Bracelet, I'm pretty sure it has a ribbon and a pro ring. Like,
yeah.
It probably lacks the pro cape because there have not been a lot of boxes checked. So, I mean, it's got good absorb. Like, all of those things rolled up, except the Opal was neutral.
And of course, Deadpulse does not have the white shirt or the defense sword because he faded both chests. Understandably, the defense sword, I still probably would have at least tried to duck in for that quick chest on Agama, but I'm not in this tournament at all, as Speed Bump 2 disappeared for some reason, was there and just isn't anymore.
Yeah, it looked like 783 damages from 10 swings on the Vorpal. That's
This Knight is pulling black belt kind of things.
That's how good this particular bonus is. Steel Lord is honestly one of the best blessings you can possibly get on a melee.
You lose some evasion because of the heavy weight of the steel armor by design, but it rolled up, so it's that much tougher. And yeah, you have a reasonably good health points behind it as a beefcake tank.
The only thing that's scarier than a fighter with Steel Lord is if the black belt can get it. Because I know that Steel Lord also gives you the proficiency in the armor. Alright, Deadpulse to carry 2. Budgemano done with the grind. Got a Harm 4, a Temper, a Quad X, and a Swing. And obviously we know what order that happened in. But the swing goes out, carry goes down. We're
Nearly
on to the
1,000
seafood.
damage.
Yeah, seafood party platter floor.
And Budgemano going to get that bottle turn in, gonna get that steel armor and feel like, why didn't I stop here sooner?
You know, Pickles, it very well could have been a fighter exclusive. If it is, I mean, that's just great. Yeah, dropping the iron +2 for a steel +5 that also gives you auto fast. Pretty much, yeah.
Who knew iron carbide was that much better than pig iron?
Alright, we've got a fish monster. We've got a Vorpal +4 on Budge's side. Which means Budge knows where to go, and it's just sad.
That was 6 swings for good damage, 7 swings for more good damage, and Deadpulse has dealt with Kraken too.
So what I am seeing here is Deadpulse, not only just charging through, but nothing particularly adverse coming up, right? We haven't seen a nuke to my knowledge. We haven't seen any of the things that would scare this party.
And relatively speaking, these have not been that thick of fiends. They could definitely roll thicker than they have thus far.
9 hits 912 after the 2 tempers go out. The fighter gets turn order for another 986, and down goes Tia 2. This is honestly one of the easiest Tophers I've seen in a while.
We're going to have a chaos encounter at sub 50.
Absolutely huge. Alright, Budge is now in go mode. We have a key. We have an endgame weapon. We have everything we need item-wise. Budge is still a dungeon down, though. Alright. 6 hits for 454. We get the tempers coming out after, but the pawn that went out first is the red mage that gets punched out, so that's good. 6 hits, 884. Chaos takes out the other. It's okay. They've done their job. 6 hits, 527. We're Cure 4 in the White Wizard. It's just good practice. 6 hits, 609 terminated. That is a 50-04 according to racetime.gg. Get your GGs out in chat for Deadpulse. And with that, Budge has decided to forfeit. I completely understand. There's 2 full dungeons to go at this point. Cannot blame.
Indeed. That was some race, and just getting the gear and getting in go mode worked out very well for Deadpulse. Let's see if we can get either of the racers in here for some post-race commentary.
Just need to get their invites, and then they can join into the setup room here. It usually takes just a moment. But this, I think, was a great race. This does put Deadpulse into the round of 8 officially.
Now, a quick question I have is, when do they switch from any 3 to 3 forced orbs? Is that round of 8 or is that round of 4?
Round of 4. This is going to put Deadpulse against Chanigan in the round of 8. That is a match to watch.
At this point, there isn't a bad match to watch.
True. All right, it looks like Deadpulse is in our setup room, so he might be in the booth in just a moment here. And there he is, the man himself, Deadpulse. GG.
Hello, friends. Thank you.
So, heck of a race there. We saw you basically say no to everything once you had your grind done. You feel you had every tool you needed at that point?
Well, it was kind of, there were three things behind it. First, it was, okay, I think I have everything I need. I'd like some more, but it's not worth it for me to check because with that party, you can't run. So the person who takes the least amount of encounters is probably going to win. So I didn't want to take extra steps if I didn't have to. And I forgot what the third was, but just assume it was something, really cool.
Yeah, looks like Budge having some issues getting the invite from the bot, so I don't know what's going on there. See if we can get that figured out. So moving on to the round of 8 against Chanigan. How you feel?
I'm feeling pretty good. I was nervous about this set of races against Budgemano. He's a great racer. I've actually I spied on his Twitch a little bit on some of his races, try to get myself into a groove to see if I can make it to the round of 8. And I'm excited to stay in the tournament and take on Chanigan.
Yeah, this was a great race. I think right up until there was a little bit of divergence with Waterfall. And if you go back to watch this, I have a feeling you're going to go back and watch the tape, right?
Oh yeah.
So Waterfall was sort of the split where you got the floater first and were able to catch up on checks. And from there, everything seemed to just sort of flow naturally. Did you have any concerns mid-seed?
Well, the first thing that I thought was, oh, please don't let me go to ice. And then as soon as I got the loot, like that was the gamble, was okay, now I know I have to go to ice because it's going to have either my canal or my ship. I best go now. I was hoping, as I watch back, that maybe Budgemano would have had a little trouble in Ice Cave because it's a dangerous dive to do at level 5, but I got through it pretty well.
Yeah, and Budge went there right away. Budge in chat saying that he felt out of sorts here in this one. Felt bad all the way through. You know what, Budge? Honestly, you two were practically lockstep, except for doing ice before Deadpulse did. Like right up until that split at Waterfall. And so yeah, like I thought you put on a good performance. Things sort of got rough towards the end, but you were making do with what you had.
The biggest divergence point was when Budge ended up getting to Gaia, picking up that armor and the Vorpal, and just grind and nuke. Just black belt level destruction of enemies.
I think you got the name swapped there because that was Deadpulse that did that earlier.
My apologies. Yes, Deadpulse.
Yeah, Budgemano had just checked Gaia basically as you finished Deadpulse. So,
Yeah, without getting that, I definitely used that to my advantage right off the bat. It felt bad, kind of running. It felt like I was running around with my head cut off for a while there, but in the end, I think that ended up being the right call.
So I guess one question I have for you, probably one of my last ones here. So you get to Crescent Lake, you find the loot that tells you ice and marsh are both required. How much are you cursing?
Yeah, I was not happy at that point. Nobody wants to go to Ice Cave, and the fact that I was forced to, it's like, oh my god, I'm level 5. Yeah, I have warp and exit, but there's scary things in there. And then when I ambushed the seafood party platter, I'm like, oh, thank goodness.
Yeah, the tiles in there were a little scary. You picked up the opal out of there, which is something Budge did not get because Budge immediately went for the incentive chest and exited out. We're gone. We're not dealing with this.
Yeah, I was debating on that the entire way down because that was where I was going to wipe if I was going to. And but I got a little greedy.
I appreciate that though. Did you have your Lewis script running for this?
No, I did not.
Okay. So if you're not aware, Deadpulse has a script that tells you how much time you spend in menus, in battles, and in shops. And it's a fantastic training tool to get you to stop doing all those things. Fabian, do you have questions for either of our runners, knowing that Budge is in chat here as well?
Honestly, the only thing I had was the fact that in the end, I understand that you were avoiding extra encounters. Totally makes sense why you were fading so many chests. You had good equipment, good levels, but you missed the defense sword in the bottom Earth 2 chest, and then the white shirt was in that first chest on Agama floor if you had just popped up in there. Both of those budgemano picked up, and another thing to note that you did avoid was the mummy pack, which was doing very bad things to budgemano.
I I really wanted to avoid Earth, um, specifically because of those crack arachnids. So at that point, at the point that I found those, I had already decided, okay, I'm gonna full clear everything. I'm gonna try to work Sea Shrine in instead of going there. But then I found the other ribbon, and that was cool. Um, the problem with the checking all those chests is, um, it just takes so much time. And quite honestly, if you saw my chaos fight, I cast Temper, and on the white mage, even though I had Invis, even though I had Harm 4, I just waited because it was faster to just kill all of the fiends going in. I think I think Kraken got 1 turn. I think Tiamat got 1 turn, and Chaos got 3. So casting that white shirt would have added, 5, 6, 7 seconds per turn, and I really didn't need it.
I bow to your wisdom.
I think that is really a sign of how much respect you have for Budge as a runner, right? Like,
oh yeah, I was feeling the crunch, and you give Budge an inch, he'll take a mile. I'll tell you what.
True story. All right. Well, I think we can probably move on to some final thoughts here. So, Deadpulse, GG. Final thoughts.
Oh yeah, Budgemano, this was a blast. Thank you very much for indulging me in in our little 4-4 no recruits. I had a lot of fun, and I'm sorry to see you go, but I will carry on for both of us as I try to make it all the way to the end. And even if I don't, it was a good game. Thank you both, Saracen, Thavian, as well as Speed Gaming 6 for having us on here. I think Wildham is in the tracking. Thank you very much. Other than that, yeah, thanks everyone for watching. I was really nervous. I really was about this race, and I'm glad it turned out my way. So I'll see you all round of 8.
Budge put some final thoughts in chat here. The winter tournament has been a lot of fun. Thanks for everybody for putting this on, and looking forward to the rest of it. And boo SGBot for not getting the invite out for the interview. Thavian, final thoughts.
It's kind of hard to have final thoughts because it really comes down to what's already been said.
I follow you. All right, well, I will final thoughts and get us out of here then. So this has been another fantastic race in the books for the winter tournament. We are seeing the round of 16 wrap up this week and the round of 8 starting next week. It's going to be an exciting time. Just real quick check in on where that's at. Deadpulse v. Chanigan in this part of the bracket. We don't yet have one in the next group up, but that is Pickles and Beard, Danny, Fred Coughlin, and Ale Markin battling it out to figure out who will be fighting there. Sir Linkalot and Not Young Me, Demon Frog, and Rubes in the second quarter bracket, and ADR will be going up against the winner of Dengwu versus Life Reboot in the quarter 1 bracket. So these are all fantastic races that we're going to be looking forward to in the round of 8 and as we finish out our round of 16. If you like what you saw, you should come hang out with us. Head over to FinalFantasyRandomizer.com. You can find a link to the community Discord there, as well as the randomizer itself. Following the winter tournament, we are going to be running our new player program. So if you are interested in learning to pick up the randomizer, you get to hang out with me and Luffy DV as we teach you all about how to play, how to race, how to do some other fun things too. Because there's more than just racing in the community here. But the winter tournament is going to be continuing throughout most likely the majority of March. And the last week of March will be the start of the Duck Boot Camp. So I hope you come and join us. And I hope you had a good time. You can also grab the spectator role so you never miss any of the race announcements for the rest of the tournament, as we set out a ping about 45 minutes before each race starts with where the action's going to be. So with that, I have been Saracen, joined in the booth by Thavian Hawk. We had Wildhem doing the tracking. Thank you, SG6, for hosting us. And with that, have a good night, everybody.